Welcome to This Explainer. Let's kick things off with a surprisingly common, kind of uncomfortable scenario. Are you earning a pretty decent income? Maybe you're even hitting six figures, but you still feel this lingering, low-level financial anxiety every single time you log into your bank account? Well, if you are, I promise you, you are completely normal. It is incredibly common to feel like your money is controlling you, rather than the other way around. But today, we're putting a stop to that. We're going to take back control because we are digging into an absolutely powerful blueprint today. The 100K Playbook.
$100,000. Now, you might be wondering why this specific amount. Well, simply put, saving this exact amount isn't just some arbitrary random goal designed to make you feel good. It's an actual mathematical tipping point. Once you cross this specific threshold, the game completely changes. Compound interest finally takes over and really begins doing the heavy lifting for you. It's going to be your first real taste of true financial freedom, a place where your money genuinely starts working way harder than you do.
So here is our agenda and exactly how we're going to get you there. 1. The 100K tipping point. 2. Erasing high-interest debt. 3. The CEO system. 4. Automating and scaling wealth. And 5. Avoiding 4 toxic wealth traps. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The 100K tipping point. Okay, before we start building any systems, we absolutely have to talk about a massive myth. It's a myth that keeps so many high earners totally trapped in financial stress. There's this idea that simply earning more money will just magically solve all your financial problems. But let's be real, lifestyle creep, the bigger houses, the nicer cars, it usually eats those raises alive. That is exactly why building your initial foundation is notoriously tough. As the old saying goes, the hardest part is the first 100K. It gets a lot easier after that. If you feel like you're literally pushing a giant boulder up a hill right now, well, you are. The beginning of the wealth building journey is mathematically the toughest part, hands down. But once you cross that line, it unlocks an almost unstoppable momentum. To actually see this mathematical momentum in action, let's just assume you're investing $600 a month at a very conservative 7% return over 10 years. By the end of that decade, you've got over $102,000. But check out the breakdown here. You only actually contributed $72,000 of your own money out of pocket. That remaining $30,000, that came completely from compound interest. That is literally your money quietly reproducing all by itself in the background. Now, fast forward to when your portfolio hits the $1 million mark, the dynamic completely flips on its head. Nearly 70% of that entire $1 million balance is just earnings from interest. You only contributed 30% of it. The snowball gets so massive and rolls so incredibly fast that it completely dwarfs your own contributions. Your money does the vast majority of the work for you. But, and this is a big but, only if you push it over that initial 100K hill. Section 2. Erase high-interest debt. You simply cannot build wealth if you are actively bleeding money. And speed really matters here. You have to stop the financial bleeding entirely before you can realistically expect to build any sort of long-term foundation. Remember that 7% investment return we just talked about? Well, if you're carrying credit card debt at a 27% interest rate, you're effectively wearing a 200-pound weight vest while trying to run a marathon. That 27% rate aggressively works against you, and it will completely wipe out any potential 7% gains from your investments. Compound interest is an absolute miracle when you earn it, but it is a total monster when you owe it. You absolutely must eliminate this debt to free up your cash flow. Section 3. The CEO system. If you're someone who hates tracking pennies on exhausting, super restrictive budgeting apps, you are going to love this part. We are completely replacing manual budgeting with a system driven by cold, clear logic. The CEO methodology breaks down exactly like this. C stands for cutting costs mercilessly on what you genuinely don't care about. Because honestly, nobody wants to hear about how you wash and reuse paper towels just to save a nickel. The actual goal is to spend extravagantly on the things you truly love, whether that's international travel or amazing restaurants, as long as you severely cut out the expenses that don't bring you any joy. E is for earning more, which is a highly tangible skill you can learn through negotiating a raise or starting a side business. And O stands for optimizing your finances, which leads us perfectly into our next major phase. Section 4. Automate and scale wealth. We are going to put that CEO system on complete autopilot so your money flows entirely behind the scenes, almost like water. Here is the exact logical progression. Your paycheck hits your account via direct deposit. Instantly, before you even see it or have a chance to spend it, your bank automatically routes a portion to your savings and then another portion to your investments. Whatever is left over sitting there in your checking account, that is for 100% guilt-free spending. You never have to manually transfer money or wonder if you can afford an energy drink or a night out ever again. The system already paid your future self first, automatically. And I've got a brilliant little tactic to turbocharge that automated system, the 1% December rule. Every December, you set your system to automatically increase your investment contribution by just 1%. That's the whole trick. It is so ridiculously small, you won't even feel a pinch in your daily budget, especially as your income naturally grows over the years. But mathematically speaking, this single tiny habit can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. It scales your wealth seamlessly without any real effort on your part at all. But remember, the very first stop in that entire automation flow is your savings. You absolutely must build your financial moat. This means keeping 3 to 6 months of your fixed living expenses, plus about 15% extra for the unexpected stuff, in a highly accessible emergency fund. And please listen carefully to this. Do not invest this money. Your moat is there to protect you from surprise medical bills or, a blown transmission. It has to be liquid, it has to be safe, and it must be ready to deploy at a moment's notice so you never have to touch your actual investments. So once the moat is fully filled, your automated money flows straight to your investments. But where exactly should those investments go? Honestly, forget about complex, highly managed portfolios. The two absolute best low-cost set-it-and-forget-it investment vehicles out there are index funds and target date funds. Index funds give you a widely diversified basket of stocks, and target date funds are literally a single fund that automatically adjusts your risk to be more conservative as you approach your retirement year. They're incredibly simple, and mathematically, they consistently beat over 80% of active money managers. And hey, speaking of beating active managers, $400,000. Think about that number for a second. That is exactly how much money is lost to management fees over 35 years just by choosing a fund with a 1% management fee versus a low-cost 0.2% fee on a standard investment plan. 400 grand, just gone, straight to fees. Choosing low-cost index or target date funds is absolutely crucial if you want to keep your wealth in your own pocket, right where it belongs. Okay, so you've got the math down, you have the CEO system in place, you have the automation flow, the defensive moat, and the low-cost funds. You're doing everything right by the book. But that leads us to a really crucial question. Why do people do everything right mechanically and still totally fail to build wealth? The answer actually isn't math at all. It's psychology, it's mindset, and it's terrible advice. Section 5. 4 toxic wealth traps. See, building the system is really only half the battle. Protecting your wealth and your mindset from bad influences is just as vital. So let's rapid fire right through these 4 traps. Trap number 1. Meme stocks and get-rich-quick schemes. Stop asking broke people for financial advice and seriously ignore social media side hustle culture. Real wealth takes time. Trap 2. Toxic frugality extremism. Walking 8 miles in the rain to save $3 is miserable. Wealth should enable a rich life, not self-imposed deprivation. Trap 3. I missed my chance syndrome. Look, you can't change the past, so stop lamenting that you didn't invest at age 20 and just start today. And finally, trap 4. The optimization spiral. Ban the word optimization from your life entirely. Stop switching banks every 6 months just to chase a tiny fraction of an interest rate difference. Focus on the big picture, not on exhausting minor hacks. Which brings us perfectly to the core philosophy of this entire explainer. Set up your system, leave it alone, and go live your rich life. Real wealth is about living a deeply meaningful life today. It is absolutely not about obsessing over spreadsheets, agonizing over $3 coffees, or depriving yourself of joy. Just set the logic, automate the flow, and step away. So I want to leave you with this final, really vital question to think about. Are you controlling your money with cold, clear logic, or is your money still controlling you? Because you now have the exact playbook. You know the math, you know the automation, and you know the traps to avoid. The only step left is for you to actually implement this, build your system, and finally break free from that financial anxiety. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Now go out there and build that moat.